Hello, and welcome to Fugitive Poems, Containment Breach 3-minute meets, not a damn one of which has been just 3 minutes. I am Christian DiMatteo, and I am here today with Marissa Brignole. And Marissa is a contributor to Containment Breach, Volume 2, Myth Reborn, the second comic anthology from Fugitive Poems. Fugitive Poems is myself, Christian DiMatteo, and James Lyons, my creative partner, co-founder. And we're so excited that Containment Breach Volume 2 is coming. It's about triple the size of Volume 1. And as excited as I am, I still don't totally have my voice back. I was just telling Marissa, I've done 2 weeks of shooting these awesome videos with these great contributors, and nature decided to give me a sore throat right now. I swear I normally have a much more baritone voice. So we are going to be talking a little bit today about this project, which the umbrella theme is Mythology Reborn, reimagining mythology. And Marissa is part of a team, an awesome team of awesome people doing a really cool story. So ladies and gentlemen, please meet Marissa Brignole. Marissa, how are you?
Great, how are you?
I am I am doing well, minus this thing. Marissa, before we get into your project, the big question, who the heck are you?
So deep. Okay, I'm Marissa Brignole, as you mentioned. I'm a colorist and a painter. Just kind of like a general artist. I'll do anything art related for money. Myself with that. So yeah, I guess that's
Please tell me that under your Twitter handle it says that. We'll do anything.
We'll do art stuff for money.
For money.
It doesn't. It should.
It should. Yeah, we got to take care of that. I mean, that's really kind of so many of us.
Yeah.
You know, the artists that you hear about are the minority. So many. I am not a physical artist at all, only writing. James keeps a collection of my reference drawings, which he doesn't need. He doesn't need them. He requests them all the time, so he can make fun of me. This is one of the last comic one-pagers I did. Is that showing up? There we go. This is
no. I wish I could see this.
Is it not showing now?
Oh,
that's actually, if I'm being honest, that's one of my much better ones. Here. This came out today on the Comic Jam by the real artist. This is a samurai protecting a bunch of people against the dinosaur. Let's see, wait for it.
Yeah, no, you get that right away.
Immediately, right?
Samurai, dinosaur. Yeah, no, beautiful work. Love it.
So I'm not an artist by any means in that way, but as a writer, so many of us out there are like, listen, pay me. I have amazing stuff in here.
Yeah, I'll figure out how to do it. Yeah.
Just look, I'm here, right? And that's been one of the goals of the Containment Breach anthology series, is we are just looking at indie creators and trying to put them together. You came in as part of a team, but we had a bunch of people just apply as artist or writer, and we got to play matchmaker. And it's been so cool. These new relations, two of the people working together are now engaged. No, I'm kidding. That's not true. 2 of the people working together are now working on other projects as well.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
But you already had your meet cute with a team. Tell us a little bit about the team you're with. Did I lose you?
It's.
I can hear you, but I can't. There you are. You're back.
Okay. So it's Jeremiah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
It said internet. Oh, okay, cool. So Jeremiah, you might know his last name, but I can't pronounce it. Like Shriek? What is it?
Sheik.
Okay. Yeah, so he's doing the line work, and he's an incredible illustrator. And then Leland is doing the lettering. He does all the lettering for our Upstart comic group, pretty much. And then we have Jason writing, and I'm coloring. And we had worked together previously on Thistle, which is not, I think we're taking it to Kickstarter to get funded. But it's like sort of an in the works project that you could view on upstartcomics.com.
And Jay has some of it on his website as well.
Oh, yeah.
Jay has an incredible website. You can get lost there. He's got so much up, and I think
Yeah.
that's so important for indie people. Is
Mhm.
that if I get you to go to my website, I really want you to see it all. Do you have a website?
Yeah, so the upstartcomics.com is the brand that I created for here's a little logo, the brand that I created for the Okanagan comic creators previously. And I have like web design experience. So I made us a website, logo, business cards, all that. And it was a huge project. I put everyone's work up there, all of our projects that we've worked on together separately. And I made a little video about the group. We did like interviews and like group photos. We took it so seriously.
What's the name of the website again?
Upstartcomics.com.
Upstartcomics.com. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's all. If I go there, all the work I'm seeing, the design work, is Marissa.
Yeah, that's me.
Excellent. And where else can I find you? Where else can I find your stuff?
I'm on Instagram, but I'm horrible at social media. I think it's really sad that as an artist, like trying to get work freelancing, you really have to be good at social media. You have to be posting on Twitter, you have to be posting on Instagram, and I'm just like not. And I'd rather just spend that time making art. So that's rough, but
Yeah.
do
you know what I've had to do to get myself to just be on Twitter? And my wife's like, "Oh my goodness, you're always on Twitter." I'm like, "This is not by choice. I'm not having fun getting lost here, right? I'm trying to keep a presence out there." What ended up happening was I did meet so many great people that allowed for this to happen, for Fugitive Films to be able to reach out and to become a member of the Comic Jam, where we met a lot of people there too. But it's going back to what we were talking about earlier. It's sort of like you're programmed to do one thing.
Yeah.
Right. But you can't do it unless you're really good at getting people to pay you for it.
Yep.
Which is not something you're really good at doing.
Absolutely. It's a whole other skill set. And I've been freelancing for the last 10 years and I'm no better at it than I was 10 years ago. I feel like I've just hit a wall. And if I could pay someone to handle my social media and find me work, I would. Because like light, color, like that's what I like. That's what makes sense to me. But networking and social media, which is a new thing, like I don't get it all. But
you could tell me a squirrel. I'm going to give you a squirrel, a movie poster, and a snake plant. Write me a story. Got it. And then they could say, "All right, now I want you to summarize it in a one-page synopsis." I'm like,
yeah, right. Now sell it.
Yeah, exactly. Now I could sell oddly enough, I could sell anything of yours.
Yeah.
Easily. When it comes back to me
here.
Yeah, well, only if you can pay me back. If you're good at
yeah.
selling my stuff, I have a total block when it comes to humping my own stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's like self-promotion.
Yeah.
There's just a wall there. Yeah.
I have a creative writing services company, Tellworthy Creative Writing Services. I write the back of people's books for them. I write all easy peasy. Comes to my stuff, it's not happening.
Yeah.
But all I want to do is be left alone to create. And if somebody was really smart, they would just grab me and say, "Here's your new world. Just do stuff and we'll come and monetize it." And everyone would profit, right? So if they could get you and put you in the office too, you do your thing over there. But that's what we need. If the world's waiting for us to come out and say, "Oh, let me explain why I'm great," then they're missing out on all this talent.
Yeah, very true. And that's why JL Collins, who you interviewed, who I worked on Thistle with, and I'm now working on this project for the Fugitive Poems anthology. He's like that. He was like, "I know a letterer, I know a colorist, I know illustrator, and like I know what like themes you guys are going to work well with." Like just brought it all together and got us working on one thing. And like we needed that.
Yeah. I'm decent at doing that with other people, and I'm finding a passion. I am so in love with doing Fugitive Poems.
Yeah.
And the idea of putting an anthology together, I would never have guessed would be something that I could do. But I'm so happy to be meeting all of you and come to this sandbox we've created, and everyone came up with a prompt, and then we're playing. This is what I want to think about every day.
Yeah.
And so I'm finding that this was my way into being able to to push forward a bit that way. Tell me about what you're doing for Containment Breach.
So I'm coloring. I don't know how much I can spoil. Like,
You can give the basics of the story. JL gave the basics of the story.
okay, cool. So I don't know them too well. I don't read the full script until I'm ready to do the actual colors.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's about Hercules as a child. That much I've gathered from the flatting phase, but I won't read the actual script like in depth until I'm ready to start coloring, because the first pass, when it's fresh in my mind, that's when I have the best idea of how I'm going to approach it. Otherwise, I'll forget like the best ideas that I had. And the second time I'm reading it, like nothing's coming up. I'm just remembering that I've read it before. I know that sounds weird, but
no, no, this is the stuff. This is the stuff that we discover about ourselves when we really delve into
yeah.
our art. How did you find that out about?
Having to work under pressure in a similar circumstance, I love when there's a time crunch, because you're just doing things the smartest way you can, knowing that you don't have all the time in the world. So I worked on another Platform Comics 10K challenge with Peter Harding, and we actually placed as finalists. We were like top 10.
Which story was that?
It's called Don't Leave Me Behind, and you can find it on the 10K platform.
I read that. I didn't realize that was you.
Yeah, that was us. Yeah, and that was a 1 week. We had 1 week to make a 7-8 page comic.
Yep.
So yeah, it was a lot of back and forth, and then I read the script and then started working like immediately after, and I was like super happy with the work I was doing, because I was like, yeah, like I just read it and I imagined it as I was reading it, and now I get to take those pictures in my head and put them down. Basically that, like, learned by doing.
Yeah, there's the kind of people that say they're best at the last minute because they're lazy and they don't want to start.
Yeah.
Right. Then I'm a college professor, so I see these types all the time. And then they're the kind of people who know that they need to be way ahead or their anxiety will paralyze them.
Yeah.
But the truth is never quite that simple. Different projects require our brain to be sort of stimulated in a little bit of a different way. And the fact that you know that about your comic process. Now, what about your painting process? How is that?
It's the opposite for painting. I come up with a concept once, and then that's the concept. Then I just have to make sure I'm actually staying on it consistently, painting every day, or at whatever time I've allotted for painting. Like, comics is different. There's like so much that you have to like imagine. It's like a puzzle that you piece together. There's so many moving parts, and it requires a lot of creativity and problem solving. Whereas painting, you lay down the concept and then you're completing the concept.
Why is comics like a puzzle? Coloring comics like a puzzle? Because
there's an element of pace, because it's sequential, because there's closure that you have to create from one panel to another. I'm going to put something down, and then I need to re-look at what I just did and ask myself, does this make sense to the viewer? Someone put something down on a table and then took their hand away. Did I give enough frames for that action to make sense in someone's head? So it is, and panel layouts, it's like a puzzle to me, really.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
So you guys on your side of the comic process always complain about us, the writers, because we don't see, and actually that's the best way I've ever had that explained to me. James is going to be like, dude, I've told you this. And I'm like, no, Marissa said it better. but I'll get James. He's like, so you've got 5 different elements and 6 moves in one frame. And I'm like, right, because he's running while being shot at, and he's making a turkey sandwich. So is that yeah. He can't do that. Or, you've got him in the house here and then he's in the car. I'm like, hey, he got in the car. He's like, well, how are people going to know he did that? I'm like, because he's not in the freaking house anymore. I have begun to understand what's wrong with my thinking.
Yeah.
And we've had people on this project discussing that about their writers and having to get us in line.
But it's the fun part. part too. The writer has like this one component of like, I have to tell a compelling story. And then the artist really is like, I have to make it make sense on a visceral level. I'm
Right.
going to use pace, like setting, lighting, so that the person who's reading it feels what the author wanted them to feel and doesn't get lost and feel like, wait, what's happening? Why is he in the car now? Is this a flashback? Like, it's a lot of moving parts.
The one of the hardest things for me, because then you've got the neediness of the artist, of all of us, that right. So I put a script out there, and like I'm like a little puppy dog. I'm like,
Yeah.
right? And I'm waiting for James to be like, holy crap, you're a genius, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, cool concept, right? And he isn't thinking that way at all. Like 2 weeks later, he'll be like, by the way, it's a cool idea. Because the very first thing he's doing is trying to figure, yeah, your cool concept is going to explode a page. It won't make any sense. Yes, good job, cool concept. How do we make a comic out of this, right? And
exactly.
that's been a big curve for me.
Even a cool concept is like an artist's nightmare, because cool means interesting. Interesting means new. New means it hasn't been done before. So I can't just reference things that have been done already. Like, you're making my life hard. You know what I mean? So like the cooler a script is, the more you're like, oh.
And that's my goal every time I put my fingers on the keyboard, is I'm going to come up with an image. You just explained something to me. I'm going to come up with an image no one's ever seen before. And I'm realizing that every time I've shown that to James, and I'm like, ta-da, he's never excited.
Yeah. You wonder why artists don't appreciate that yet.
Later on, once he's drawn the thing that no one's ever drawn before, he's really psyched, but not initially.
Yes. Yes. You're like, okay, cool. I'm glad I had that challenge. I like came up with something new, but like, no, not initially. Initially, it's like, don't talk to me for a few days. Yeah. We're not okay.
All right, this is actually really hard. Today's Containment Breach 3-minute meet is a really good therapy session for me and my artist. Thank you, and my partner.
A lot.
Let me ask you this incredibly important question. I see that you've got a beverage there, but in a perfect world, regardless of whatever time of day it is and whatever taboos are therein, if any beverage could appear in your hand right now, what would you want it to be?
Right now, beer. Probably a beer.
What kind of beer?
I'd actually want like a beer and a coffee, so you have complete control over you going up or you going down.
Oh, you know, wow!
Moment by moment, you can decide the direction that you're taking it. What kind of beer? I want to say I've been really into sours, because like that's true, but I want to say that because it sounds cool. I've been drinking Budweiser. I don't know. It's like not a cool beer, but it's really good.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to not put on my judgmental face. I'm so sorry. But
that's an appropriate reaction. Like, okay.
You had me at sours. I love sours. And there's stuff going on. My buddy, Bruno Duarte, who I haven't mentioned out of these at all. Look at that. Shout out, right? Is that what the kids are calling it? He's like a beer expert, and he's gotten me really into sours that have evolved from what they were. I had like a key lime pie sour the other day that was unbelievably delicious. But I've also had some incredibly sour ones that didn't tip the line into being uncomfortable. Because years ago, if you had a sour, some of them you're just like, but I thought there's a new balance that they're hitting. That's awesome. That's very cool that you're into that. And
but let's pretend I just said sours.
I'm gonna edit. I'm not editing any of these. My children have run in on like 6 of them. So well, Marissa, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you for taking the time of not 3 minutes at all.
That should be the name, not 3 minutes.
Not 3 minutes at all. I already told James I want to put "not" in parentheses in front of the title in 3 minutes. I'm Christian DeMatteo, co-founder of Fugitive Poems. Go to fugitivepoems.com. Subscribe. You'll get the information about when the Kickstarter launches. This is going to be on Comixology eventually, without a doubt, right next to Containment Breach Volume 1. But before that, it is going to be kickstarted physical print editions. And the time I'm having watching the art come in, reading the scripts, and now watching the art come in, folks, these stories, this book, so many anthologies, you get them and there's like 4 good stories and the rest are just like, yeah. And it's not just because this is my baby. I am telling you, there's not a story in here I haven't absolutely loved. The art is incredible. Fugitivepoems.com. Go to @fugitivepoems on Twitter, @CDMETC on Twitter, @fugitivepoems on Instagram. Marissa, where can I see your paintings?
There's some on Instagram. It's Brignole_Marissa is my
Okay.
Instagram handle.
And no website?
I don't have a website for my paintings because I don't do commissions. I pretty much just paint for myself.
Oh, okay. Okay. That makes me want to see it even more.
Yeah.
All right, folks, please get involved. Check it out. Keep a weather eye. You're going to want to be involved in this Kickstarter because Marissa. I mean, come on. What else do I have to say? We are Fugitive Poems and we make comics.